Greetings and welcome to a Monday edition of the Shotgun Start. It is September 2nd. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, I'm doing all right. As you can hear, my voice, I came back from the road with a gnarly cold, and that's been my weekend.
Worse for the wear, old man washed edition, not the prior iteration of worse for the wear Sunday, Monday recording of this podcast. Sorry to hear you're under the weather.
Not getting much sympathy from the missus on our anniversary weekend.
Anniversary weekend. We're out of town the week preceding. Yeah, I think you just kind of battle through that one. You got to fight through it. Grin and bear it. But we're here. Go ahead. We're recording Monday morning.
It's a victory Monday
for Illinois. They win.
Well, Illinois won, but Big Ten, big victory. Late Sunday night.
The Trojans.
Historic Big Ten team, the USC Trojans, taking down the LSU Tigers. First move of Big Ten dominance in the college football space.
It looked a little dicey there for some of them. UCLA just clipped Hawaii. Oregon had a fight on its hands with I can't remember, somebody that's far inferior. But yeah, you get the redeeming Monday night, and everybody gets to laugh at Brian Kelly pounding the press conference table. Kind of the opposite of Sleepy J press conferences. We got Brian Kelly just coming out saying their quarterback outplayed our quarterback. Oh, that's good. Just throw your quarterback who played fine. I thought he
played pretty well.
Yeah, thought he was quite adequate, and then slamming the table. I love Brian Kelly memes, and we're off and running. But yeah, congrats to your Big Ten. The fight on. The Sons of the Midwest, they're defending the conference integrity against the boys from the Bayou. That was great.
Hey, can we do the Swag Sports Minute right off the top?
Yeah, go to swaggolf.com. So your friends from high school golf, played high school golf with them.
High school teammates.
Regular providers of Friday golf event prizes, which, in person, I was very, very impressed. I got up close and personal with these for the first time about this time last year at the Brookside event. Swag putters, swag head covers. They are slick. They are slick. They are. I am sort of skeptical of some of the bespoke but this is a golf company, one-off golf that made by golf nuts. And it's taken off. It's done really well because they make good stuff, or good shit, as we've been prone to say in the past. You go to swaggolf.com. They've got license with the MLB, so you can get bring your fan enthusiasm, I suppose.
All the diehard White Sox fans can go out and get White Sox gear. Your team probably has inspired you to decorate your bag with White Sox.
There's going to be
this year.
three AL Central teams are going to make the playoffs. So, they've got more wild card spots. They're going to win 90 plus games between the Guards, the Royals, and the Twins. I was with my friend last night. Of course, you all get 20 games against the White Sox. Of course, you're going to have three teams from that division, win 90 plus games. But you can get a head cover if you want.
Our teams are still in it.
We are. We're rallying. It's rooting against the Braves is my favorite pastime. So we're all on the same page here.
All right. Can we get to the Sports Minute?
What is it? I thought we were doing it.
Well, I just have a grand takeaway. It was an epic sports weekend. Epic. I mean, there was U.S. Open tennis is awesome. Maybe my favorite event of the summer is U.S. Open tennis. College football, week 1, even though it's week 2. You've got the Curtis Cup. Unbelievable. You've got the pennant races heating up in Major League Baseball.
F1 at Monza. I know you were into that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. The week before the NFL starts, there's so much buzz in the NFL.
Sure.
There's one event that takes away from the entire sports weekend. It might make it a shitty sports weekend because of the stink of the event. and that's the Tour Championship. I watched so much of it, and I'm so mad that I watched so much of it.
Is that why you lost your voice? You're just shouting at the TV in anger about why you were watching this direct. Before we hit record and we came on, I kind of just like threw my hands up. I know it's like, I don't know what to say. I know it's my job to maybe shout about this. I think I'm beaten down by apathy. It was bad. It was a bad sports event. It was a bad golf tournament. It was a bad ending to the season. It's a bad format. I had to go home last week. I had to go home for a funeral, and then there was like a family reunion that was also going on. So like tough sequence, tough circumstance, but like the small talk events of like the world are like, we're hanging around at the reception after the funeral, right? And then like family reunion. And I was like that exhausted Popeyes worker trying to explain the Tour Championship. First, like, that meme, just nonstop having to try to explain the Tour Championship to like casual, like sports fans, big time sports fans, but casual golf fans. At one point, all three of my uncles were lined up on the couch, all getting confused, like having the wrong format at the wrong time. They're like 70-year-olds, white dudes in their 70s, the most engaged like PGA Tour demo. And none of them could like follow or understood what was happening. They're like, I love Scottie Scheffler. I love golf, but no one can understand what happened. Then, of course, we get on the back end, and it's kind of a fun house of mirrors. Scottie had a 7-win season. Scottie just had his 13th PGA Tour win. Scottie joins Jason Day as like, it was a bad format, and it's hard to explain to even engaged sports fans. And I guess what I would boil it down to, Andy, was the number one player in the world, the best golfer in the world, won on Sunday. And the PGA Tour doled out $100 million to 30 players. And it couldn't have been exciting. It was the most boring shit. It was like, honestly, among the more boring Sundays of the entire year. And they gave $100 million out to 30 players. And it just felt like, for what?
I think like we need to start with, this did exactly what the tour wanted it to do. It awarded Scottie Scheffler a huge pile of cash.
Is that what they wanted?
I guess where I would come back is, do we even need this? Do we need this? Does this need to exist? Would you be better off not staging a tournament, not having golf on this weekend, not frustrating 80% of your fans, not staging a tournament and just giving people cash and having some big award ceremony? I think they'd be better off doing that. My neighbor is not a golf fan, and he was telling me, he first asked me why I wasn't in Atlanta.
I got that at the funeral reception. That's like, no. I'm like, are you supposed to? They know it's big, but they don't know what it is. Like, is this a big thing? Right? It's the Tour Champion. Like, no,
I laughed and said, that's not a real golf tournament. And he goes, oh, why? I was watching it last night. And he goes, I go, well, like the format. And he goes, yeah, I couldn't understand that. What was going on with the format? Like, are they trying to, like, I don't get it. How is he up? This was after Thursday. How is he up 7 shots one round in when other guys beat him?
Yeah. Double take Thursday there, that first round where I just keep looking up at wait, what? 10 under? He's 12 under?
I ran a poll and I saw that No Laying Up ran the same poll.
Confirmation bias.
Well, I think this is illuminating. These are probably...
Okay.
This is a cross section of diehards. I didn't realize that No Laying Up tweeted out a poll 2 hours before me on a similar topic. I guess I added a third. I said maybe. I left room for undecided people.
Okay.
I said, do you enjoy the Tour Championship format? Do you know what percentage said no?
Like 85.
83%. 11% said maybe. The number of people that said yes was 6%.
So
what are we doing?
It's bad. It was terrible. It was, and you know what? It puts you in the unique position, I think, if you're the tour or if you're a fan, of like kind of rooting for the best player in the world to like play poorly to make it interesting. Like I don't actually, but if you're the tour and you want, like, you're in this weird position. Well, I hope Scottie like spits the bit so this gets interesting. You don't want to be that. You don't want to be in that position. It's such a weird, and I want to give this the most generous, benign view I possibly can. Like, and I not that I feel this way. You know, sometimes the Super Bowl stinks. Sometimes the NCAA championship is like just bad. I thought that Georgia Clemson game was pretty boring and bad, even though, you know, it's hyped and they've got the right guys at the right time, you know, right, high powered teams. And
Cade Klubnik sucks.
It's fair.
You like can't make a throw.
Sometimes games are just boring, even if you get the high powered Scottie versus Colin kind of thing. But what the tour is doing is setting this. And, you know, it's been exciting in prior years. So, like, we may be reacting to an especially poor one.
They were lucky.
Yeah. I mean, it was bad when Cantlay won it. It was sleepy when DJ won it. It's been, you know, they've had a couple good ones with Rory.
They were lucky that Scottie completely just threw up all over himself one year.
Yeah, with Rory, what was that, 2 years ago? So, yeah, you're stacking the deck to emphasize push towards boring.
The issue, here's my issue. So we've cut the field down to the 30 best guys in the season. And I think this is like, it really crystallized for me yesterday. And we're going to implement a scoring system that renders 3/4 of them completely irrelevant before they hit a shot. Literally, like 3/4 of the field has no chance. Like, what's the point of having them there?
Yeah.
What's the point of having the 30 best players? It should be a cool event. You have 30 of the best players in the world, and you've somehow managed to create a scoring system that makes 3/4 of them completely irrelevant before they've hit a shot. This is the issue, is that there's literally like 8 guys that could win the tournament, 6 guys that could win the tournament, because like half the field starts 10 shots back and aren't going to play well.
Hey, I honestly, like, I think that was, we had a supreme talent win. I think it was among the most boring Saturdays and Sundays of the entire season.
Saturdays and Sundays, it was boring Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Well, I'm saying
it was awful.
The rounds at the wire. I'm thinking like even 3M Open and like throw the whole schedule in there.
I'd rather watch Butterfield.
No, come on. You'll get
honestly,
your chance.
Serious.
You'll get your chance.
I'd rather go watch a club championship.
I
hate watching amateur golf. Honestly, I might rather watch a Flight A club championship. I'm not going to go
high
past
level amateur golf.
I'm not going to go past Flight A. I'm not going to do that. That would be hyperbolic. But I think I'd rather go watch like 6 handicaps duke it out. Like, because at least then I'd see just car crash after car crash. Like, we're not like 3-putting from 10 feet after you're playing competitor dumps it in a bunker and like just makes a mess of it.
So the starting strokes capitalized. I was reading more PGA Tour documents this morning. Yes, starting strokes are not capitalized.
When are those going to be branded? So they can lock this event in more if they sold the sponsorship to the starting strokes.
Starting stroke. So they were meant to, starting strokes capitalized, were meant to address like this 2 trophies problem. And, you know, I think there have been issues with the playoffs and the tour. Was that one that was really like bothering you? I didn't ever felt like that was the biggest deal. Did some network executive just make a comment at some point, and they figured they needed. I felt like that was never an issue. I know, Justin Rose kind of got screwed because everybody was worked up about Tiger winning, but we've had like Tiger and Phil getting trophies on the same green. Like that never felt like the biggest problem, and so this is a very dramatic solution to address what I've never felt was like a massive problem. You understood there was a tournament, and then there was the FedExCup. And they could go to different people. That never felt like the biggest issue that needed immediate solving, certainly by something this drastic.
I think like one of the things that I'm most upset about is like what it does to storylines.
Yeah.
Scottie, like this year was always going to be about Scottie. Like, okay, Sunday at East Lake was going to be about Scottie, but instead...
No, you're good. You're fighting through it. You're playing injured here today on Monday. Yeah.
But instead of like having Scottie and a really cool story, which was Colin Morikawa had a great year this year, but couldn't get over the hump. Couldn't get over the hump. Like Kapalua, the Masters, was it the US Open he was in the mix at? Like, kept kind of getting knocked down by pro golf, like couldn't get the wins, and he kept running into Scottie. Like he had multiple runner-ups to Scottie. At East Lake, he finally puts it all together and probably wins the event. We don't know because he was playing under the shadow leaderboard. The OWGR is counting it as a win, but he probably gets this thing done. And there's this great storyline of like, he banged his head against the wall all year long and then finally clipped the guy. He finally did it.
Beat him by
but instead, it's just like this, like, oh, the announcers don't even acknowledge it. That's the thing that drove me insane. It's like they're not even acknowledging how good of golf. It's just like, oh, he's 5 shots back. He's 4 shots back. Well, he started 6 shots back. He's actually leading the tournament.
And what you end up doing, and who knows, maybe Scottie, as Joseph Lamagna pointed out in the Friday newsletter this morning, maybe Scottie plays differently. He's playing to the net leaderboard. Maybe he probably plays differently. And this is where they come in conflict with their argument about why Liv shouldn't get OWGR points because, these guys are competing for the team cash and maybe that alters how they play. Maybe they play, pull up on an individual race, the individual competition. And you, as Joseph pointed out, you have Scottie. Like, yeah, he lost by 2, but did he play to that leaderboard? No, he was playing to give me the $25 million leaderboard. And this is the problem with the tour. They've twisted themselves in so many knots that like even like the most chucklefuckery of like points can make them look self-contradictory because this event forever was about money. It was forever about the money. Well, now they're like, oh, do we want to hype that up because that's like Liv's deal now? Do we want to talk about how we're giving $100 million away today? And Scottie just made 62 million plus on course. So like they kind of like, pulled off of that. Now like they have this kind of fake, it's like a fake competition. It's a fake leaderboard.
It is a fake tournament.
And you're trying to argue it gets OWGR points, but not their leaderboard. Their owns a separate leaderboard OWGR site. Sahith Theegala got more OWGR points from this event than the winner, Scottie Scheffler. He beat him. And so you've contradicted that sort of lays bare Liv's argument. I mean, gives more credence to it. So they've twisted themselves up in knots. And what's come out the other side is an underwhelming product. And, people...
You know what they've done?
What?
They've chosen, and I want to be clear, we've hated this format.
Totally.
Since the second it got introduced.
It's ridiculous.
There was no pussyfooting around about maybe liking the format, giving the tour benefit of the doubt. This thing sucked.
We called it the second it got introduced.
Championship.
We had a blast with the content from it.
I mean, the day it was announced, this was like, what idiots And here's the thing. This is why. Why we watch golf is not strictly because of who wins the tournament. What makes golf compelling is it's an extremely long tournament, 4 days, and there are all these myriads of storylines happening throughout the tournament. And when you contrive a tournament in the manner that the tour has done with this one, it is contrived. That's not an overly harsh word. It's a joke of a competition. No sporting league in the world would put this on for more than a year. But the tour is just continues to barrel halfback dives into the middle of a 10-man front.
It's now capitalized. They're digging in.
All they're doing is they are muting every other storyline other than who wins this tournament. They have said every storyline outside of the winner doesn't fucking matter.
And on top of that, it became boring. Like, set aside the farcical nature. Like, okay, if you want to go,
that's what happens when there's only one storyline.
I know. I mean, if you want to make it sort of like blur the lines of real competition, fine. You better end up with like WWE SummerSlam, something like, a great show that's fake. Like, but they ended up with, the number one player in the world, and everybody kind of like shrugging their shoulders. And people kind of say we can get like too critical of the FedExCup and the playoffs, and like I think it's kind of our job to like. Not preserve history, but at least like give a fair account of what we're watching and what we think of it, call balls and strikes. And that's fine. I think the PGA Tour is the best golf tour in the world. There's a ton of amazing, talented people there who I feel sorry for having to defend and talk about this in a real way. But where I have trouble is when they piss on us and tell us it's raining with some of these stats, with some of this, like the prominence and forced importance of this.
7+ wins for Scottie Scheffler. Well, he didn't win 7 times. He won 6.
Didn't count the Olympics in that count. Weird. Like the gold medal was not a win, but this one where he lost by 2 and came in 3rd was a win. This was his largest. The tweet from PGA Tour comms on Thursday, I think should be printed and framed and put on your wall. Says it cards a 600, holds a 7-stroke lead. He's the first player to hold a lead of 7 strokes or more after 18 holes of a tour event on record, 1983 to present. That's not based in reality. And this is where we get upset and want to call bullshit. The PGA Tour is with the win today. It would be his 13th career PGA Tour title, 84th player to do that on tour.
He has 12 PGA Tour wins,
Jason
according
Day.
to OWGR.
He joins Jason Day as a 13-time PGA Tour winner, and Jordan Spieth as well as an active 7 PGA Tour title season. He's the first player to do that since Tiger of 07 and Tiger in 06 and VJ in 04. Is this what we're doing?
Did they win net tournaments?
So,
no, they didn't.
Apologies for getting worked up about this, but like, can we just I think the point of this podcast is half of the time to call out the absurdity of some of the bullshit and nonsense that somebody paid for and FedEx and all, like, and that's what we're doing. And, if we got an exciting golf tournament, maybe we'd be less worked up. But in addition to, it was a crap product. When it was a crappy product. You have Scottie Scheffler and Colin Morikawa and a renovated, restored golf course and $100 million. And it was among the worst Sundays.
100-degree weather.
And it was among the worst Sundays of the entire season. And that's where we're at. But don't piss on us and tell us it's raining with some of these statistics. And that's where, like, we're going to call the tour out, and they're just not based in reality. By the way, like, we haven't talked at all.
The problem is everybody else goes along with it.
Well, yeah, I think there's you don't need to be a constant critic, but just base some of your commentary in reality. And you don't kind of
everybody's got to assure their spot in the next Creator Classic.
Anything else from the Tour Championship besides no one? I think this counts as a LUP Slam. I think we're reformatting. The LUP Slam is no more because WGC's died. He won the Players. He won the FedExCup. I think WGCs are no longer. We're going to sub a SIG. So he won one of those. and he won a playoffs event, quote unquote won. He won the Tour Championship. I think that's the Lup Slam. Rory, not seen since I think Rory's 2019.
Is Scottie the new Prince of Pontevedra?
Maybe. I don't know. He called it silly. He himself called it silly in Memphis. So I don't think he can assume that role yet. So.
Bennett's the new Prince of Pontevedra. Lots of Bennett content.
Bennett's a big boy. He's a rangy power forward already. He's a big boy. They put him in the cup. Someone said this is what they call the potted plant. I thought that was a good tweet at me when they put him in the trophy. That's pretty good. Bennett's got some joie de vivre. He looks like a great kid. So the Lup Slam. Sahith, do you want to say anything about Sahith calling a penalty on himself? He's 90. Yeah. High marks. Winner of the week. And it cost him $2.5 million in the end. He called it himself. There's cost him an OWGR win. No, there's no real visual evidence of him moving sand on a bunker shot. In case you missed this on Saturday, he went back. Doesn't look like anything moved. Kisner on the broadcast was like, that's nothing. And he's like, says it himself. I don't think referee could have confirmed it. He's like, I'm like 90 percentile sure that something moved, and I just don't feel comfortable with it. And, I don't think the shot was affected, or he got a funky lie. He said it came back into like his pitch mark in the bunker, but he's just was like, I'm pretty sure I moved sand. It cost him $2.5 million, 2 shots. So Sahith, a big winner, integrity, and just he's already sort of a fan favorite going forward. Jay Monahan.
Was he a winner this week?
I don't think so. The trophy presentation.
How about when he was coming off, when Scottie was like hugging all of his friends and family coming off the course, and I assume his agent was up there, and then Jay's like kind of lurking on the left side of the rope line, like waiting to get his big high five. It's like, man, just like, you don't need to be a part of this. This is
it's the commish.
But this is friends and family. Like, you got to do the trophy ceremony.
He's supposed to. Well, as Jay Rigdon pointed out in the newsletter and wrote eloquently, it said, Adam Silver did an under 40-second trophy and thanked like 10, 15 stakeholders, 40 seconds. Jay went 3 minutes, 50 seconds before he ever got to Scottie. There was a microphone malfunction, so he started from the top and just repeated essentially what he said. And it's like 4 minutes of just
gobbledygook.
Drivel, yeah. And then talk about the player, give him the trophy, get out. And, we can't do the trophy ceremony for the Women's Open last week. I don't know. I understand the network constraints. Wasn't the biggest deal. Yeah,
it wasn't the biggest deal. They moved the tee times up.
Because of rain or the threat of inclement weather. So that wasn't, I wouldn't say he was a winner Sunday. Big J. Sahith the winner, Scottie an obvious winner. The PGA Tour statistical department not a winner with these fake stats about all these things that Scottie's now achieved.
Can we just hold on here for a second?
Sure. I feel like, yeah. What?
I don't want to just kick a horse while it's down.
It seems like you do. It seems like
can
that's
we just
what you're
reiterate? Now that it's fresh in everybody's mind. We've seen how bad this format could be. The problem with the format is when somebody if somebody's just playing great in a week, you could be like, look at the dominance, look at how good he's playing.
Yeah. Yep.
He wasn't playing the best in the field, and we're stuck with this awful Sunday. So I just want to be clear, the format's this is the playoffs. I want to just sum up the playoffs here. The format's terrible. I'm going to hold back for profanities, even though I really wanted to say one there. The format's awful. Awful. Full stop, awful. And it's because of the sponsor. Allegedly said that this is what they wanted. I think it's the players and the sponsor. You hold this playoffs in August. And you visit Memphis and Atlanta because of sponsors. I think it would be better to visit those two places in January.
I mean, all of this is fine. Like, do it, but just then don't tell us that like this is the biggest deal and competition is of the primary and utmost importance. It's like the USGA taking the US Open to some course that, you know, Lexus required or Lexus. It just, you got to pick and choose. You can fine, go ahead and do it, but understand that you're not putting the best version of yourself out there, and don't tell us that this is the big, most important playoffs and everything matters so much and it's an ultimate prize. That's the contradiction.
Well, that's the thing. And if you're at all a serious organization, if you are like actually trying to have a real thing here, these cannot be your decisions. Like, if you actually, like, we hear, and this is what terrifies me, actually. We hear about how the tour hates that they don't own any of the 5 most or 6 most valuable events of golf. The 4 majors, the Ryder Cup, and now the Olympics. The 6 best tournaments in golf. They don't own any of them. I hope they never own any of them, because they will just completely mess it up. They don't deserve to own any of them, because this actually could be something cool. The playoffs could be really freaking cool and maybe have a chance to become one of those prized events. But it will never get there because of the idiocy in the organization over there.
I've read through all the notes. You know, Scottie's the second player to hold the Olympic gold medal and FedExCup at the same time.
Oh, wow. That's a meaningful stat.
But you know what that means? I was like, I don't remember that. Justin Rose won the 18 FedExCup, but he had the 4-year window of reigning gold medal. I was like, okay. I was confused by that. That killed me. 16 and 18, 3 years apart. All right. So
I appreciate these made up statistics.
Yeah, they don't own it. They have the money, apparently, you know. Unsubstantiated rumor. You know, Rory's quote about how, like, you know, maybe the Saudis got to get done or else they're just going to look elsewhere. You know, I'm sure the European Tour, you know, that's maybe happening. Unsubstantiated, somewhat substantiated rumor. SSG. Apparently, what's like the office space. The guys, what would you say you do here? Apparently at Wyndham, they had a delegate at Wyndham Championship, SSG. Like, talk to everyone at the tour, like every employee. What do you do? Do other people do this work? What's your job? What's your title? Like, talking to every single person on the ground at the Wyndham Championship of, you know, where do you work? How do you do this? Who else does this in your organization? So, yeah, maybe looking under the hood a little bit more here as that partnership continues to evolve and really ramp up. So, but this is their playoffs. This is where they're at. You go on the shadow leaderboard. It goes Colin, Sahith, Scottie. On the net leaderboard, Scottie is your winner. Great 4-iron. Into was it 9 after the shank on 8? Great 4-iron into 9. That hard par 3 with the firm new green.
What do you think of the course?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just jaded by all the other bullshit around this event that we've gone through over the years. It doesn't do a ton for me. It feels like there's a lot of sameness and not a lot of memorability. But it's better. It's certainly a lot better. I enjoyed the extra firm greens for the content's sake. I realize there's a little bit of that's not sustainable, or nor should it be. What do you think?
I just always wonder with tour courses what the course would look like if the tour wasn't involved. I think it might present a little bit tougher test if the tour wasn't involved. Seemed like the whole locations were pretty soft, pretty. Didn't see a lot of putts moving a lot.
Not a lot of slope.
Yeah, doesn't seem like that's something that the tour wants to do, is test putting acumen. They just give people 10-footers that are straight. So I don't know. I think There's a lot like, so sometimes like with golf courses, and I don't think this was a restoration.
Yeah.
It was a renovation. There wasn't like, I don't think they had that much evidence on like what was there. It's like restoring from just an old aerial is tough.
1949, I think it was. Yeah.
Like ground level shows contours, right? But sometimes you have to just say there may never have been anything great here. And when that's the case, I think a lot of times like full scale renovation's a better choice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to call it like the Super Bowl and the biggest thing. I think, whatever. We don't need to get into the old discussion about rotating it and moving it around, but I think that clearly needs to be a consideration, an urgent one, if they really want this to become anything. And I'll say this, they did get jammed by the Olympics, having to move to Labor Day weekend. Like, that's not always when it's going to be. I thought that made it
did
even
they get
worse.
jammed, or was it like the best thing ever that the sports world wasn't just like watching this farce of a competition?
Oh, you think it's better that they hid behind college football and everything else that was going on?
I think it was like the best thing that could have happened for golf.
The BMW ratings were way down Saturday and Sunday. So that was the preceding week. It wasn't like they were killing it in the week that was more with more room to run.
And that was actually like a real golf tournament. This was not a real golf tournament. So,
yeah. All right. One thing that's real, absolutely real, in front of my face, not a made up number, not a fake number, is the 25% off everything at goodwalkcoffee.com. The whole auto applied at checkout. It's Labor Day sale, but days have no meaning for these Labor Day sales. As we know, Black Friday is now 10, 15 days. Labor Day sale
month, actually
goes to midnight on 9/5. So that's Thursday, I believe, 9/5, NBA or NFL opening kickoff night. So Labor Day, as we record this, 25% off, not an insignificant amount of money when you check out goodwalkcoffee.com. Of course, you go /shotgun, you subscribe, you get an extra 10% if you subscribe to one of our blends. So that gets you 35% off at checkout during this Labor Day week. And you also support the podcast when you buy one of the fried egg blends or the shotgun start blend. The portion of the proceeds go to support our work, keep us up and running out on the road, and hopefully get you a consumable good that you're, hopefully you're not blowing your money at Starbucks or whatever every day, going in there and getting $3, $5, $6 coffee. This comes to your door at intervals of your choosing. The amounts you can get 1 bag, 2 bag, whatever you want. Supports our work, and right now you get 25% off auto applied, and then you get that extra 10 if you subscribe on that sort of monthly basis or whatever you want to choose. Goodwalkcoffee.com/shotgun. Again, that's going well. It's been a great first year. They've been big supporters of ours, and you guys have shown up and subscribed. Good coffee. We spent a lot of time working on those roasts. Goodwalkcoffee.com/shotgun. All right, I think we're done with the Tour Championship. We talked about a golf shot again. We're recording here Monday, midday or mid-morning. So it's come and gone. Elsewhere, the Curtis Cup was fabulous. Tight race at Sunningdale. Perfect weather. Really good single session. The GB&I wins for only the 9th time. I believe U.S. has won 31 times with a couple ties. But their 9th win, first, I believe, since 2016. They get the precise 3.5 points out of Sunday singles to get to 10.5, 9.5. Record crowds, apparently, 16,000 some. Thirsty Justin Rose was subject to
thirsty. He's a supporter.
He was everywhere. Oh, come on.
He's a supporter of women's golf.
Remember
during the pandemic, he had that series of tournaments.
I think it's still going. The Rose Ladies series, I believe it's still ongoing. Big supporter. I saw, thirsty maybe too derogatory. I didn't mean it in a derogatory sense, but they kept showing him everywhere. Monty there, Charlie Hall, but amazing watch early Sunday morning as Mimi Rhodes closes it out, gets up and down, essentially had to punch out, gets up and down, makes a 15-footer for the necessary half point. She went one up, then lost the 18th hole. Melanie Green, who have the overall match, but it was a half that secured half point there at 17 was enough to get them the victory. And they did it really without, Lottie Woad, played well, but didn't deliver a ton of points. Got boat raced by Asterisk Tally in the first match. Anna Davis. It was a good Curtis Cup all the way around. Sarah Byrne was huge early on and called it the best week of her life. She secured they only needed 3.5. She got the first point, but called it the best week of her life.
I had this recorded and watched it after the Tour Championship.
Yeah.
I don't think you could have created a more different golf tournament. It was like, it brought me hope.
It was good.
It wasn't a golf course that got like $30 million dumped into it, $30+ million dumped into it. And then having no defense of like 380-yard bombs that are, created by technology. Like, oh, it's just a wedge everywhere. This was like real competition, a brilliant golf course with like players playing the golf course at the right scale. And it was awesome. I wish there were more people watching this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, good on Peacock and NBC, Golf Channel, whatever, for getting it up. That's not always been the case, especially at a UK-based or GB&I based Curtis Cup or even Walker Cup. Sometimes that's been a challenge, but it was great coffee golf watching, and they got a good competition to deliver it. Katrina Matthew, like, I know she doesn't play the shots, so it's weird. What does a captain actually do? But no one won back-to-back Solheim Cups and now has a Walker Cup. Pretty good run for her in the last, I think it's about 6-7 years, really, since 2019. So awesome event of the week that kind of lived up to the billing Sunday morning. On the LPGA, Harin Rue wins. She went 62, 78, 64 to win in a playoff over Jin Yun Ko. Kind of a roller coaster there, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Just blowing the lead to Jin Yun Ko there on Saturday, but gets it back on Sunday to win in a playoff that was at TPC Boston. That was just, another course that's just a brute for everyday players that, PGA Tour pros broke 60 there. I think Scheffler shot 59. And the women just were posting 62s, 64s all over the place on the weekend there. But congrats to her for winning, I think, her second time on the LPGA in 2 years, in as many years. So that was, I don't know, a little bit of a come down from obviously the old course in the month over in Europe. At the Betfred British Masters, another Dane, not Piss Bear Jr., but Nicholas Norgard wins barely. Had some interesting sort of chipping woes, disasters, where it looked like me, advancing it 10 yards at a time from the green side. Couple duffs, couple chunks, double bogey there late, but still had such a big lead. He holds on and wins the Betfred British Masters, presented by Nick Faldo or whatever, hosted by
Nicky Norgard.
Nicky Norgard. So the Danish golf having a bit of a great summer here. Faldo found time to get off a shot at Liv, as has been his sort of tradition lately. So it's something about Tyrrell Hatton having to play a proper golf tournament. That's why he went 76, 74 on the weekend. So just proper host there by Sir Nick getting the shots in. Congrats to Nicholas Norgard for winning the British Masters. Emotional after the win there. News, I don't have much. Ludvig's getting knee surgery, which was kind of, I feel like, an open secret. Sort of, he was having knee trouble, and maybe more significant than he was letting on. He didn't really want to talk about it and got sort of skittish when it was brought up ever in the public forum. But yeah, I think he's been playing pretty good golf with the pretty significant knee issue for much of the last, 2-3 months. So
lots of injuries.
Yeah, like what? Spieth's wrist gets the surgery. Yeah. And then other news, I mentioned the SSG rumor from Wyndham. Rory remarks on, I think was it Thursday?
I think it was Thursday.
I don't know that it didn't seem like dismissive of Jay, but he's like, if anyone who actually cares about golf, you should we need to get this done if we really care about golf. And I would expect, Saudi
it was
Piff to look
dismissive
elsewhere.
of the process.
Yeah, I agree. Someone suggested to me that it was a slap back of Jay. I didn't really see it or read it that way at all, but he's just like, let's push it along because Saudi Piff, who, of course they would start to look elsewhere. Shouldn't they start to look elsewhere? So that will, I assume, kick into high gear here, right? I mean, just the news, the rumors, what's going on. Is there a merger happening? Is anything being progressed along? The golf sort of recedes here in September, October, November, and there'll be a lot more.
What are you talking about recedes?
Nonsense about that.
I'm getting ready for the Pro Tour.
We've got Solheim and President's Cups this month. I'm excited about both of those, but you're ready for the Pro Tour.
I can't.
Who can
I
forget?
think the tour is trying to jam me. I can't even apply for a credential.
It will always be the Fries to me. The Fries.com Electronics Open or whatever it was. So that thing's had a lot of title sponsors. That's 2 weeks though. Week off, and then we go to Pro Tour. All right. I think that does it for a bubbly.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What format would you want
for the
First Cup,
the Tour Championship? What
Tour Championship. I don't want to just be a problem identifier.
I think we've proposed many solutions to the point where it's sort of cliche to keep talking about them. I think the obvious one is some sort of rotating venue, maybe a push towards the West Coast. I think you need to finish before Labor Day weekend. That was the Olympics issue. I know it's been said a lot. I do think a mix of stroke play and match play would work well. I think a match play is a very intuitive format. I would not be sitting there trying to explain it to all my uncles who love golf that, hey, Ludvig beat so-and-so 2-1. He won. Match play is very intuitive. I think you can do that on the weekend with 8, and it's just different. You're already doing something different. You're already doing something different with this freaking starting strokes capitalized. And, the networks will say, or I've had people from the Tour Championship and from it wouldn't work. We have sponsors and build outs and all these things. It just doesn't work. I would say what they got is dreck right now. What are you suggesting? It's
what
not like you're taking
work.
something sacred and historic and scuttling it for match play. Maybe you get a clunker of a final. But you don't get Scottie. That would probably be a problem they would be mad about. But what you have now, it wasn't good. And so I think there is a combination where you do.
The key to the match play is playing out all 8, the top 8 spots, so that there's always 4 matches on. And you're playing matches for millions of dollars.
Yes. And as an intermediate step, I might just say go back to having 2 trophies or the possibility of 2 trophies. I know that's maybe not an ideal outcome, but I think it's better than what's going on now.
I saw Rick Gaiman added up the cumulative over the 3 playoff events.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Do you know who won?
Was it Scottie? No.
Sam Burns won by a shot over Xander, Adam Scott, 2 shots over Scottie, and 5 shots over Wyndham. More compelling tournament.
Relatedly, I have Will sent me the winners of the FedEx Cup pool. Yeah.
With more valuable prizes than the, $1 billion sport, $300 super store credit. $500 in Dratty, Good Walk, year supply. What do we get?
We can't get you to spend $800 at TPC Deer Run, but we can get you close enough. First was the TPC Sod Farm Slaughterers. Second was the Boston Ball Frogs. So another victory Monday for the Ball Frogs.
What a month for the Ball Frogs.
And third was 4 right, but 2 all-time SGS names at the top of the leaderboard there for us.
The TPC Sod Farm Slaughterers. All right, they're the winner. there are winners of the cumulative, not net, cumulative gross score across 3 weeks of quote unquote playoffs events. We'll do more of those. We'll have a few more. Maybe we'll do a PresCup pool. Just give away more stuff. Get going on that. Anything else, Andy, before we close out here?
I just hope I never have to talk about this format again.
I think you might. We'll see. See what happens. All right, everyone, enjoy your Mondays. We'll be back with you on Wednesday investigating a potential dynamite frugal fratelli nugget that I hope I can drop on Wednesday. We're going to reload right back in the saddle. All right, talk to you then.